Ladies and gentlemen, making his way to the ring and fighting out of the red corner, it's Jacob Schildt Jr.
Hello, friends, and welcome to TCB number 44 as we start off the night with back-to-back exhibition bouts. My name is Chris, here with Brent, and we are bearing witness to the entrance of Jacob Schildt Jr.
What's up, guys? Brent Hess here. Excited to be back at another exciting TCB fights. We're starting off the night with two exciting exhibitions, and I'm glad we're having some of these youth come out here and get some experience here, Chris.
Absolutely. So this first exhibition bout is going to be in the 145-pound division using junior Muay Thai rules for the age of 12 to 15 bracket. So a lot of protection here. We just want to see what kind of techniques they're bringing to the table. This is most likely going to go the distance, and I'm very happy that they're getting the chance to get on this stage early because right here in TCB, people oftentimes are starting from this young age, building up a resume of excellence before making their full debut.
Yeah, they start off in a rule set it's Class C rule set here, so it's kind of like the beginner level. There's no knees to the head, no elbows, and kind of keeps it safe as possible for these young guys to get in and get their feet wet inside the ring and get some experience.
What experience they're going to get, and also just before this training with Nine Realms MMA, that's enough to make a fighter out of anyone. Jacob Schildt Jr. looking great, coming on in with a ton of confidence. Super excited to see the kind of mark he will make here at TCB.
Guys, how crazy is this? I have never had the headset on before a fight starts. This is awesome.
Welcome.
I am so excited to have Brooks in there in the ring tonight. He's been my understudy for the past few fights, and I'm excited to see what he can do in there.
And making his way to the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, Nate Connelly.
And this is his opponent, Nate Connelly, coming on in, also weighing at the 140 even that we saw Jacob Schildt Jr. at. This is a fighter out of Lotus Thai Boxing, who notably is the gym, who's also bringing one of our main eventers to the evening. Brandon DeKessian will be on, but we're going to see exactly what kind of training he's going through here with the debut of Connelly.
Yeah, excited to see this one going in, and Lotus Thai Boxing rolling deep tonight with quite a few guys on the card, like you mentioned, the main event. And I know the coach there, Carlos Lopez, great guy, and he's the Lotus himself. That was his fight name, so really got some awesome young athletes representing his gym, and excited to see this one starting off here on TCB.
And you can see that one of the people that is cornering Nate is going to be using that headset. That's most likely going to be going straight on to Nate. Just once again, another layer of protection for both of these fighters. Really, this is going to be a display of endurance and conditioning alongside technique. Those are the things to watch out for here, these exhibition bouts that are really only going a minute and a half to 3 rounds.
Yeah, as we move the night along, these guys here starting off are in Class C. They're going to be starting off with some equipment, and as we move the night along, get some guys with some more experience, less equipment. Let's throw it to the ring announcer to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first fight of the night is 3 1.5-minute rounds in the TCB Junior Muay Thai 145-pound division, and is brought to you by Sand Screen Printing, turning ink into art. Our referee in charge of the action tonight is Ben Lipov. And now introducing our competitors. First, fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 132 pounds. Fighting out of Nine Realms MMA. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 15-year-old Jacob Schildt Jr. And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighed in at 142 pounds. Fighting out of Lotus Thai Boxing, it's 15-year-old Nate Connelly. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is 3 1.5-minute rounds in the TCB Junior Muay Thai 145-pound division, and this fight is brought to you by Sand Screen Printing, turning ink into art.
And this is a great way to start things off in an exhibition in more than one way, of course. Both of these fighters about to take to what may be their very first public-facing 1.5-minute round under the watchful eye of Ben Lipov. But also, got to give a shout-out to Brooke over there. Absolutely thunderous performance in his first public ring announcing.
Here
he
we
was
go.
all right.
All right, well, you know what's also all right? This blazing start to the action, shots across the head on either side. We kind of have this hybrid half clinch going while people are just wailing on one another with their dominant arms. Right now, it looks like Nate Connelly maybe getting out to a little bit of an advantage. Could come to those 10 pounds over the sides of Jacob Schildt Jr., but right now it does feel like the blue corner is dominating the action. Although, I gotta say, Schildt is firing right back in kind.
Yeah, these guys, they don't know backwards and they don't know stop. You know what I mean? They're just going after it. Knee, elbow, knee, or not elbow, punch, and they're just nonstop.
Neither one of these guys gets bullied at school, I can guarantee you that.
Not after seeing a video of this at the very least, Chris.
Look at these knees. Nice trip there. Beautiful. Yeah, both young guys really just taking it to each other. And we'll see what they have after this first round, after this adrenaline dump.
Absolutely. And, of course, the crowd is loving it. The velocity that these fighters are going at is something that you very rarely get to see. And part of that not only is coming down to the fact that these guys are young, full of vigor, and very well conditioned as well, as you can tell from just how cut they are, but also the fact that that headgear is giving them a little bit of safety. It means that you don't necessarily have to focus on defense because you're afraid of getting hit. You're willing to take some shots and just fire back as much as you can. And that was a vicious, blazing first round. And already you can see how winded, especially Nate Connelly, is. It could be a concern.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time, Brent, about the adrenaline dump that you just mentioned a minute ago, and it's got to be considerably worse for the younger guys who are really don't have much experience at all. I mean, we see seasoned fighters, Chris, that come in the ring and have adrenaline dumps after this first round. So, like Brent said, it's interesting to see how these two guys will come out in the second round.
And not only that, but I mean the adrenaline dump, the bright lights of the Salisbury Center and TCB being so young. And let's not forget, they threw maybe 30 knees into each other's ribs. That is also taking away the wind. So I saw, like Chris pointed out, I saw Connelly take a couple big, deep breaths as he was walking back to his corner. And let's see what these guys have here in the second and third.
And that was a great point, Brent. You probably know this better than anyone in the room tonight because you've been in the fight game for so long. A lot of debut fights happen in a high school gym or a recreation center or something like that. They're not in here with the big screens and the crowd and all that. So yeah, great point.
The bright lights play a huge factor, actually.
All right, well, there's the bell to signal the start of the second round. Let's see exactly how that conditioning is coming through. Really accurate shots by Jacob Schildt right upon the face, and Nate Connelly is going to start us off. The blue corner going to dive into a clinch, and once again, we see that stability out of the representative loaded side boxing. Get the dump up against Jacob Schildt Jr., who is going to start feeling that. This is not a wrestling ring that is super light. This is something that if you take a few spills on, is going to hurt.
Yeah, I mean,
and we see a different striking style here, Brent. It looks like Schildt is coming in with straight rights, just firing straight rights one after the other, and his opponent is just throwing those looping haymakers and hooks.
Yeah.
Right now, as we do get this break in the action, as Ben Lipov is going to break them out of this clinch. We do have a bloody nose for Jacob Schildt Jr., so I got to say, for as well as the red corner's landing strikes, Nate Connelly is doing exactly the same. I do want to see them begin to split apart just a little bit here, Chris. If this is an exhibition, I don't want it to all be about damage. I need to see some more technique, particularly some more defense when it comes to these big shots.
Yeah, these guys are throwing some great, powerful knees right with the point of the knee right into those ribs. And, you know, almost identical fighting styles.
All gas, no defense.
Right.
I do think that we are beginning to see a little bit more lag time, and unfortunately, if you don't have the defense to back up that blazing fast start, you are going to begin to see some more battle damage coming through. I like the fact that Nate Connelly is willing to ride this tempo downshift, though. We saw some leg shots. We see that he's willing to dive in. He's finding good clinches. Time to catch his breath, and I do think that in this one, it's the blue corner who's coming out looking quite good. Yeah,
I was going to say, I think Connelly took that round, and so we'll see. The first one was kind of even. If Schildt's going to have to come out in this third round and really take over if he plans on taking this fight.
Yeah, of course, this is just an exhibition bout, so not necessarily going to lead to a blotch on anyone's records one way or the other. But as you say, this is under the bright lights. This is the time by which to showcase all the skills that you have at your disposal, which is why this kind of almost fight for survival mindset that both of these guys have had over the course of the past few rounds, in my opinion, isn't enough to really, I think, get TCB off to a right start here in 44. This third round, as we're getting good talks from the coaches, I want to see as an evolutionary step forward for both of these fighters, a bit more defense, a bit more space, maybe a bit more action with the legs as well. Some more kicks would be very appreciated.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many teeps, you know, using the straight kicks.
Yep.
I'd like to see some boxing a little bit, but they'll probably go just right back into that clinch and knees.
Are you saying that in Thai Championship boxing? You want some boxing, Brent?
I want some boxing, man, like Champions League.
All right, well, Ben Lipov going to start us off for the third and final round. Love the glove touch.
Oh,
although I got to say,
speaking of
Connelly just teeps him right off the bat. That may have been a
Wow.
little bit too close to the glove touch for my comfort.
I know, right? That was like glove touch, boom.
All right, well, we do get the teep to start it off, but we do get right back into a clinch. I do like that Nate is bringing that right leg around, though, getting a lot of space. The thing is that Jacob Schildt is latching right onto him like a lamprey eel, wanting to get right into the face of the opponent. In fact, cornering Nate Connelly.
Jeez.
You don't see too many fights where they're like, you know what, I think I can take more punches to the face than you can. I'm not even going to get out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what we've been seeing here, nonstop.
Whoa.
See what happened? That's what I said. I wanted to see some teeps, and now he's starting to throw some.
Alongside vicious check hooks with that right over there. Nate Connelly going to turn this into a pseudo-grappling match as once again Jacob Schildt, as a defensive maneuver, falls into a clinch to stop the onslaught.
Yeah, Schildt's nose bleeding pretty good here.
Oh, yeah.
And both of these young guys are going to go back home with tonight with some experience and some battle wounds.
Yeah, they're going to show up to homeroom on Monday with black eyes and busted noses.
They'll have a good story, and they're going to feel like a man, baby.
Yep.
Here we go, finishing up the round.
Going to try to finish this on each other. That being said, Jacob Schildt definitely displaying a lot more damage than Nate Connelly at this point. There's the bell to finish it. Another respectable glove touch at the end. And what an incredible exhibition. Way to start off our night here in TCB 44.
Yeah, great fight. And man, Connelly started throwing those teeps.
Oh, yeah.
He started using some of his boxing. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you could tell his coach over there in the corner really must have stressed that, because he really came out and started firing him right away.
Yep.
In that second round.
Yeah, great exhibition to start off the night. Both guys getting their hand raised, and as well they should.
And, of course, I think that one of the things to come out of starting so young in your career with a fight like this is just the fact that, yeah, we saw the big adrenaline dump. We saw maybe not the most striated or constructed form of Muay Thai that we see when there's so much technical excellence to go around TCB. But at the same time, doesn't matter, because they're going to be back at a younger age than many other fighters, honing their skills, getting ready to answer back against that pressure.
Yeah. Hey, one thing we didn't mention here was the nice TCB shorts, the red and blue. I like that. I haven't seen that one before, and we got some nice merch that people should be able to pick up at our online store here.
Yeah, and we're talking about these classroom memories these guys are going to make come Monday. Well, you can see the kinds of clips they're going to be showing their friends if you follow us on all of our socials. Make sure to check out Thai Championship Boxing across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah, great battle from both of these guys. Jacob nursing his bloody nose, and Nate Connelly just raising his hands over and over. He wants somebody to raise that hand up.
Yeah, he's feeling himself, and I mean, I would as well. Coming out with such an incredible start, I really did think that we were just going to see a full drop-off of any technique, any skill. But really, if anything, as time went on, and maybe it was the excellent coaching from Lotus Thai Boxing, but especially out of the blue corner, I thought we saw some really solid fight mentality, especially in the third round.
Yeah. Both guys showing tons of heart. And like you say, they did not slow down. Even in the third round, they were throwing. Let's bring it in here to the middle.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to both of these 15-year-old young men. What a show they put on. Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, this was an exhibition bout, so we do not announce a winner. One more time, let's hear it for both these fighters, putting on a great show.
I really look forward to seeing these names appear higher up on our fight card in the future here, Brain. But this is